So, building on the 11 specific ways you're meant to express love. And by the way, I'm assuming that you are here because you registered for a call with me. If you found these and you have not registered for a free call with me, then an invitation, a heartfelt invitation to come and spend 30 minutes with me and explore what this looks like for you and what is your diamond that you're going to step into. So, back to this. Film the kind of love that is specific to you. If we each live our mission and our gifts together, we create a harmonious world, right? That's the idea. The question is, how can we do this? How can we possibly live our gifts? We don't even know what they are. We have covered them up, or we may know what they are, but then we question it. And is it too much? Are we selfish? Da, da, da. Right? How do we know we are even living our gifts and we're not just in somebody else's field and being a copycat of somebody else? That's happened to me and it happens quite a bit, right? So, how do we know which way to go, which mission to choose, which energy to operate from? And for those of us who are empathic, we're like sponges for everybody else's energy. And it can be a disaster if we're in toxic relationships, but it can also be a good thing if we're in a great field. But still, what's ours? What's us? What's inside of me? What is in my DNA? It's literally down to DNA level. So, getting there is not easy. To what's inside of me, it's not easy. It's a tremendously tricky territory because we live in a box. More accurately, we live in layers of boxes. It looks like one of those Russian babushkas. You know what I mean? Like the dolly inside of a dolly. But anyway, so for instance, take the shadow of Gene Key 43. The shadow is called deafness. I have that one somewhere in my profile. Somewhere along the way, I got hurt, I got bullied, I got black sheeped, all of those at the same time, for a period of time. And it was like 4 or 5 years of straight horribleness in my life. So as a result, I decided to spend my life keeping people at bay and proving to the world that I'm good, I'm successful, I'm capable, I'm popular. I need to show to the people that I'm popular. You know what I mean? If I don't get the likes on Facebook, that I just feel like, just like it just feels really weak and vulnerable, and people looking at what is she doing now. So I'm spending my life trying to prove that I'm not as impossible as I was told that I was. I'm smart, I have an MBA from top 15, and I run with the shamans, and I'm cool, and I've traveled the world, and all those things. But to protect myself, I had to become deaf. And I also became deaf because there is a frequency of fear. It's like a static noise that prevented me from connecting to my higher nature, from getting the internal guidance, from being internally driven and internally creating from inside out. So, to step from my deafness into the gift of insight, I had to face my bullies in my healing over and over until it was clean, until I got exactly why that happened and how it served me. There was not even anything to forgive. It was just clean. There is just like nothing, right? So it's not easy. And it took dedicated work. It took persistence, patience to allow and dissolve all these energies. And it was important for me. And it was my responsibility as a business owner, because if I'm deaf and I cannot hear the spirit, how am I going to help you? Because I'm just going to project my stuff onto you and I'm going to guess what your problems are instead of listening to the spirit. Am I perfect? No. This goes deeper and deeper and deeper. The integration is never complete. There's always layers and layers. The more I clean up, the more I can hear the voice of the spirit, and the better and the more effective coach I am, and the more intuition I have, and the more results my clients have, because I can cut right to the chase. I can cut like a sword of truth through what you're saying, see behind it, and tell you, because I'm hearing. I have the insight. I'm not deaf anymore, right? And then there are betrayals. You, as a business owner, stop trusting people. You separate yourself. In business, you just stop asking for help. In real life, you start paying Uber and stop asking people for rides to the airport. So we go through the life sort of collecting boxes and jails and layering them and trying to figure out, how do I survive in a world full of betrayal, pain, rejection, and abandonment? And we collect 21 years of experience that wrap our heart layer after layer. It literally takes 21 years to fully incarnate here. The problem is that we get stuck. We don't actually get fully incarnated here because of these breakages and traumas, or let's call them experiences, that we collect. So that's why we get trapped in the shadow version of our keys, never actually fully incarnating into the gifts. So let me ask you this, and please answer this honestly for yourself. Do you want legacy? Do you want your work to have impact so profound that you and your company liberate many people, maybe through your more work, maybe it's just through you being an example, maybe it's just your energy field, but you and your work and your company liberate many from their own stuckness and their own limits and their own pains and hurts and suffering. And if the answer is like no, I would just prefer the mediocre, half-hearted, and purposeless life, which, by the way, those are shadows of Gene Keys 27, 28, 29, that some of you have in your profile, that we really fall into. Like, look at the world. Half-heartedness, mediocrity, and purposelessness is all over the place. I mean, look outside on your street. Everybody's doing the same thing, similar cars, similar houses, living the life similar way. What is this about? We're so terrified to step out. False humility, right? We have been programmed. So if that's your thing and you want to stay there, then suit yourself. And believe me, I've been there. There's no judgment. False humility and a spiritual student programming actually did a number of me. It was quite interesting, right? But if you're past the nonsense of the good girl, and you're willing to be a little bit of a rebel, because I believe that all of us are meant to be a rebel. It really takes, like, okay, push the collective out, get inside of yourself and see, so that you can individualize yourself before there's unity. Individualize yourself and step into who you actually are. That takes a certain amount of rebellion, which takes a huge amount of steady progressive work to get into your inner rebel, because the programs are severe. And by the way, we don't have to feel like a warrior rebel, like badass all the time. Right? If you did, you would need to be here, right? We wouldn't need each other. We would need to support each other in our undoing, right? It's even fine if you don't feel that way majority of the time. There's so many days I think, like, why am I even here? It's so hopeless. I don't care about success. It's too much work. I don't want to feel overwhelmed. I don't want to lose my freedom again. I've been there, done that, working all the time, making the bucks, and then what? I just don't want to be there. I don't want to betray my family. I'm so afraid that I'm going to get codependent in my business. I'm so afraid it's going to swallow me again. I'm going to lose myself. I don't want to do it. I'm just like, I need to fix myself first. I just need to be here. I need to do all the shadow work first, and so on. So, yeah, it's fine to have all those fears, as long as those fears don't have you. We'll always have those fears as long as they don't have us. And they had for me for a long time. I seriously believed all this shit. So, most people, even successful business owners, still have lives of half-heartedness, purposelessness, and mediocrity. And they say, I don't know. I don't have this mission. I don't have this vision. I don't know where it is. I just don't have it yet. And it's not because they don't have one. Each of one holds the piece of the collective dream. Every single one of us holds that. But it's been covered up. It's covered up. Our heart is covered up by layers and layers. It's too scary. We don't even want to see it. The layers, the parts, the protective parts, they're actually protecting us from good things. They mean well, right? So the way we deal with this is we hire an inspirational mentor, a business coach, borrow their energy, get on a high, perform, and get successful. Until the soul says, yeah, no more identity phasing. You're not a teenager. You have to crack your own gifts open, right? So it's why we go up and down. So this is not about you in training to something or somebody else's energy. This is really you going deep inside of yourself. I think you get that, otherwise you shouldn't be here. I'm sorry. Sometimes I feel bad because anyway, many of you watching this, you have been an empath for a very long time. So I'm sorry if I'm sound like I'm talking down to some of you. But anyway, yeah. So the next leap in your business isn't, for us, is not about doing more sales, marketing, networking, or improving systems, although that's always part of it. But the very next thing isn't about that. Because if we don't get deeper into ourselves and truly transform, more work isn't going to cut it. The soul is going to actually start shutting you down, because that's not what we incarnated here for. Right? So next step for you. Keep watching. You can download the Gene Keys profile and start checking into what you see there. Book a free consultation, link below if you have not. Thank you so much.